and welcome to the National Debate. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, E20 is the word of the week, and India's E20 ethanol blended petrol policy is at the center of an intense debate. The government is aggressively defending E20 petrol, calling it cleaner, greener, and a major boost to India's energy security. It says ethanol blending has cut crude imports, reduced emissions, and saved nearly 2 lakh crore rupees in foreign exchange, and also improved farmer incomes. But a growing number of motorists are telling a very different story. Complaints of lower mileage, rising fuel bills, and concerns over long-term engine health have sparked a nationwide debate. Automakers, however, insist that E20 is safe and point to possible fuel adulteration rather than the fuel blend itself. So is E20 a game-changing clean fuel, or are consumers paying the price for India's biofuel push? This is the problem, the ethanol blend, or is the problem the fuel quality or misinformation? And this, even as the government explores higher ethanol blends, are India's roads and vehicles truly ready for the change? Let's quickly introduce our panelists who are joining us here in the studio. With us is Charu Pragya, spokesperson of BJP. Prateek Som is national spokesperson of JJP and advocate of Supreme Court. We have with us Abhinav Kumra, who is joint VP of Bharat Independent Ethanol Producers Association. Also with us here in the studio is Dr. Nishant Anand, national spokesperson of the Congress Party. With us is Vivek Silas, national spokesperson of Samajwadi Party. We have advocate Anmol Pawar, spokesperson of Aam Aadmi Party. Also joining us is Rekha Agarwal, consumer lawyer, with us here in the studio. Let's go across to the first point that we are debating this evening. And the first point is, of course, the debate and the controversy itself as far as the concerns surrounding E20. Let's quickly bring that up on the screen. The first concern is, of course, that there is a 10+% mileage drop claim. Now, this is what certain consumers are talking about. They also say that there is an impact on the long-term engine health of the vehicle. Fuel adulteration fears are also there. There are certain complaints of the cars not working properly. There's damage possibly to rubber fuel system parts, and that's something that even the government to an extent has acknowledged. The government says that 3 to 5% is the mileage loss that has been recorded, and that the government admits to. No major damage to metallic parts of an engine, and they say that the hoses, seals, and O-rings might need replacement. These are, of course, rubber parts that might deteriorate with E20 blending. Now, this is, of course, what various studies of the government have said. But what are we talking about in terms of the potential benefits of ethanol for India as a nation? One is that, of course, the most obvious aspect. 1.9 lakh crore rupees saved in foreign exchange, and a huge amount of money there. 310 lakh tons of crude oil have been replaced because of ethanol. What's also been cut is the sugar mill's reliance on subsidies, which is also a huge drain on the exchequer. What's been ensured are timely payments to sugarcane manufacturers with an increased consumption as far as ethanol is concerned. Now, what are the other arguments that have been made against E20? One argument is that it isn't safe. The fact that the government says is that it's in circulation since April 2025, I beg your pardon, and other versions since before that. The second argument is that it's causing engine-related issues, which we've discussed. These are isolated cases, what industry is saying. The third argument is why not move to electronic vehicles? The fact is that China controls 95% of the global battery supply chains. Argument 4, why not continue as it is? It's also a fact that India imports 88.5% of the crude requirements. Argument number 5 is that our insurance companies are refusing claims. The government says that E20 has no impact on either the insurance or the warranty when it comes to such aspects. So this is, of course, some of the aspects that we're talking about. Let's quickly open this up and take it across to our guests. Let me start first with you. Anmol Pawar, the big question is this. What is the concern if the government says, yes, there are certain issues, certain teething issues, but the scientific aspect of it in theory, the government says we are not only saving foreign exchange, we also have an environmentally better fuel in terms of ethanol, and this is also going to benefit our farmers. Prima facie, what's the objection?
Good evening, Madhav. Madhav, this government had always been anti-farmer. We saw how more than 750 farmers died during when 3 farm laws were introduced. They promised a lot but hasn't delivered on any of the promises. तो ये किसानों की बात ना करें, उनकी आड़ में ना छुपे. Secondly, crores of people who own cars manufactured before 2023, they are facing serious problems because of this E20 petrol, which is 20% ethanol mixed in the petrol. Point number one, initially the Petroleum Minister Hardeep Puri said that E20 petrol would not damage your parts or engine. But later he admitted that the engine parts would have to be replaced. Secondly, initially the Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari said that E20 would not reduce mileage. But later he admitted that mileage would come down, and today even the people are saying that more than 20 to 30% drop in mileage. Thirdly, earlier in the Niti Aayog report of the same government, which was published in 2020, which was a roadmap for ethanol blending, it said that people would be provided with three choices: E10, E20 and pure petrol. Consumers will have a choice. But yes, last week, Petroleum Minister Hardeep Puri said that we would not provide any choice. You'll have to buy this E20 petrol because we don't have adequate infrastructure at the petrol pumps. Point number four, first the BJP leaders challenged us that show us a single vehicle which is facing problem. Our leader Arvind Kejriwal ji launched a signature campaign 48 hours back. More than 1 crore people have shared their experiences and signed a petition to the Prime Minister of our country mentioning that they are facing mileage issues and engine problems.
Where is the petition? 1 crore people have vehicle problems, you're saying?
Yes, we have launched a website.
No, 1 crore people have signed the petition. Does
1 lakh, more than 1 lakh.
You said 1 crore. That's why I was a little concerned.
1 lakh.
Number one, number two. No, but number two. One second. I've heard your points. Listen to me. Listen to me. This is not a monologue. Please, this is a debate. Allow me. My simple question to you is this: should ethanol blending happen or not? In theory, are you against the entire proposal because this is something that's been in the works for over 2 decades? Are you in theory opposed to it?
No, we have only two demands: provide choice to the people. जिसे E10 डलवाना है वो E10 डलवाए, जिसे प्योर पेट्रोल डलवाना है वो प्योर पेट्रोल डलवाए, जिसे E20 डलवाना है E20 डलवाए.
What about the infrastructure cost of implementing that? Because the government says they don't have infrastructure.
No, but government must have considered it when this roadmap for ethanol blending was introduced, the Niti Aayog report and the ARAI study and SIAM.
So will you walk the talk? Will state governments bear the cost of that if you want that to be implemented?
No, but
state governments such as Punjab, where you are ruling?
If you'll traverse the Niti Aayog report, the central government said that they'll bear the expenses.
That's not my question. My question is, why, if you're so passionate about it, will state governments also bear the cost of it? So this matter of choice.
Let the BJP spokesperson, ED party spokesperson say here that
I'm going to ask them questions. Don't think I'm asking you the question on your points. I will ask her separately on the points and what the centre needs to answer for.
No,
but if you're so passionate about choice, I'm saying that why don't state governments come and provide that choice or build that infrastructure where you provide choice for the consumers?
The question is that why is the government backtracking? Last week the transport minister
said... Because the whole debate is of the cost of the infrastructure.
Just a minute. Last week the transport minister said that shows a single vehicle that could get damaged. Yesterday, District Consumer Dispute Redressal Forum in Raipur...
I'm going to come to Raipur. I know what you're talking about.
Seconds.
That's a separate debate. No. Raipur is coming up. Wait, please be a little patient. Raipur is coming. I know, it is an important point. That's why it's going to come up. I'm going to bring it up separately. Allow me to conduct this debate one by one. But Charu, I want you to answer the two specific points that he has made. One, why did the government which promised choice renege from that? Whether we're talking about Brazil, whether we're talking about other countries, the consumer has the right to take how much ethanol is blended as far as their vehicle is concerned. And of course, flex fuel, etc. are later choices. But at this point of time, if before 2023 somebody's bought a vehicle, why are they being forced to take E20? Because nobody knows the kind of impact that this is going to have on vehicles. The government may have given certain assurances, but we don't know if the life of the vehicle, for instance, is going to come down.
Madhav, we need to separate fact from fiction here because the opposition seems to go on and on with their WhatsApp university information. One thing is very clear, this is not merely a fuel policy. This is a policy which impacts our economy, which impacts our farmers, which impacts our environment and which impacts national security. So it needs to be looked at from a prism which is wholesome, not the way the opposition is trying to put it, and every single point is important. Today, when we talk about energy security, 85% of crude is imported into India. Shouldn't we become energy independent and shouldn't we be looking at security from that angle? At the end of the day, the amount of foreign exchange that is being spent...
But the rest of cars is also very important.
No, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that.
That is very important, I agree with you. But consumer interest has to be protected.
Of course, and consumer interest is being protected. Madhav, tell me, has the government denied all this? No. Are we supposed to be looking at better implementation today, better compatibility today with manufacturers, or we are supposed to abandon a program which which came in 2003. UPA times. In UPA times, if it was such a bad policy from 2003 to 2014, why did they not abandon it? Today I'm asking you, they didn't discontinue. They are not going to say anything about it. Do other developed countries use it? Absolutely. You go all the way from Brazil to USA to Canada to Europe to France to Thailand to Sweden. They use ethanol blending. It is a proven scientific fact to reduce dependence on crude oil. And we are not saying this is the end goal. We are not saying this is the destination, but this is the bridge. This is the bridge to reducing dependence on external crude oil, reducing dependence on fossil fuels today. And the government is doing a good job, and these...
No, good job will not be...
No, wait,
you can't certify that you have done a good job. Let others also come in on this. The point is...
objective cannot be let go of because of some rumors.
No, strategic objectives also forget opposition. Just talk about consumers and the citizens of this country. If today there are complaints coming from petrol pump owners, from car owners that moisture is coming in, the government says that in the fuel tank it will not come in. It is that's the way the engine is structured, the fuel tank is structured, the car is structured. But what about at the level of the petrol pumps? Because even the petrol pumps are saying that there is a possibility of moisture coming in. And at least 2 of the 3 complaints that we've seen, which have been debated in the public, on social media, out there, they are because of moisture contamination of the fuel. So how are we going to secure that? Why is the government not ensured that?
They deserve their solution. But it cannot be looked at a policy level where they say scrape it all. That's the point I'm raising. The government is saying...
But why not execute it? Nobody is questioning the policy decision. The execution is most important. Why should even one person, if the car is damaged because of this, that person has every right because they're spending their life savings in buying a vehicle.
अगर पेट्रोल के अंदर मिलावट है तो हम लोग ये बोलते हैं क्या कि अब हम ये गाड़ी यूज नहीं करेंगे तो प्रॉब्लम किसकी है पेट्रोल की
सप्लाई चेन किसको सिक्योर करनी है
नहीं तो that has to be resolved at a different level. We cannot have the opposition scream and shout and say
that should be resolved. No, it is not about screaming and shouting. Ma'am, you, me, every person here has their own vehicles. One second, please.
Allow me to ask these 3 questions. One, if ethanol blending was so bad for petrol, why did the government, when they were in power, abandon it? Number 2, do other developed countries not use it? Have they let go of it? Number 3, aren't environmental concerns important? Number 4, farmers are getting an income above 1.5 lakh crore.
Forget opposition.
Of the sales they are making.
Let me assume all the 3 points that you have made are completely correct. These are all the benefits of it. Whose job is it to implement the fact that the supply chains are not adulterated or contaminated? Whose job is it?
Absolutely, so our job.
If the government has not secured it,
I'm saying,
how will you ensure that adulterated petrol? And I'll give you examples of that.
Where you are asking us to scrape a policy altogether.
How will you
have the opposition, which wants to talk of the environment, but doesn't want to make
it is not about opposition. I am not even talking about. Forget opposition.
Improving income of
forget
farmers.
Opposition.
They say, bhai, kisanon ko
nahi, that is one second. Please calm down. It is not about what opposition. Just calm down 1 minute, please. Calm down. Allow me to conduct this debate. The 5 others who have not even made opening comments. The point. 1 second, Charu Pragya. Please calm down. Please calm down and listen to the question. It is about consumers at the end of the day. The point. Aman, calm down. You will get a chance. Why are you in such a hurry? There's 1 hour of debate to go. The simple point I'm making, Charu, over here is this. The consumers of this country today, if they are going to be impacted, even if one consumer out of 140 crore Indians is impacted, because this is a decision that should not impact them. It has an economic impact, it has an impact on his asset, it has an impact on that individual's transport. How is the government going to ensure that there is no adulteration as far as fuel is concerned from the point of the refinery to the point of the petrol pump? So whether it is a transport level, whether it's a petrol pump level, whether it's a refinery level, any level there could be adulteration.
Absolutely. And that is a very valid question you're raising. Adulteration needs to be controlled. It is 100% the government's responsibility. But you cannot say because of adulteration we scrape the policy altogether, which is what the opposition is trying to propagate.
But that's a valid concern.
That is misinformation. That is misinformation which is trickling down at the ground level. Every major transition in history has faced some kind of resistance. But today the question is, are we supposed to focus on improving the implementation, or we are supposed to get into a space
let's get in the expert over here. Abhinav Kumra, I want you to come in on this. You know, how much of these cases that we are seeing, whether the Bihar case, the Raipur case, etc., we're going to go into detail. The point is that a lot of times the manufacturer says this is not the fuel that we envisage. So what about the consumer? What is the consumer supposed to do? They can only go to the petrol pump.
Let me tell you one thing. The incidents related to adulteration used to happen even before E20. The supply chain problems do occur. So it is not possible to blame E20 for it.
Of course not.
So Maruti
but with
Suzuki,
E20, the point is this. Allow me a minute. If they're blending, say, 10-20% of adulteration, whatever it may be, I don't know the statistics. But with E20, petrol level further goes down, right? Common sense just tells me this, that the engines can't take so much of adulterated fuel along with E20.
So E20 is never adulteration. E20 is the fuel itself. We have to understand. In the Raipur case, the curd-like substance happened, and it is contamination. It's adulteration. Maruti Suzuki has said it, that it is adulteration, and we are going to challenge this order. It is not yet proved. It is being appealed. So we have to understand a single order. Since the program has started, E20 is running since last 1.5 years. A single complaint cannot derail the full program. And about the choice, like he was asking for the choice, the Brazil is moving from E30 to E32, baseline blend fuel. So
how many decades has Brazil been using it for?
So, sir, let me quote you one more example. In Thailand, E10 started in 2004, and E20 started in 2008, and in the very same year they introduced E85 also. So when Thailand can implement within 4 years, why can't India do it? If Brazil took a lot more, many years, so that means India will also walk the same path.
How many petrol pumps does Thailand have? How much choice do they give? Does Brazil not give choice?
But they also have the same cars, same companies.
Correct, but they give choice. The point is also valid when he's raising the question of choice from the consumer's perspective.
Thailand is not giving any choice. The baseline blend is E20.
The baseline blend is E20, but the point is there are choices also further from that. You said they started with E10.
So India is going to start with E85. India is going to start with E85. India is also going to start.
Eventually, they've said that. Right now, they've even put E25 on hold. But let me bring in Vivek Silas. How do you argue this point? Because at the end of the day, they say that other countries, globally speaking, have already implemented this. They've been doing it for decades now. Why should India be the exception? Respond.
Actually, the thing is, the present government has forced the Indian consumer to buy E20. There are no other choices. Either you buy the E20 fuel, whether your vehicles are compatible or not compatible. Mr. Nitin Gadkari has also admitted that there is a definite, drop in the average, and the mileage has come down considerably. That is what he accepted in an interview taken by some, journalist. Or you have to buy the pure petrol at the rate of 170 rupees per litre. That is the thing. There is no doubt, because from, Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, the problems are arising. People are posting the videos, and it cannot be, everyone cannot, just, have a false video. So things are very serious at the moment. I think the government should give choices, as you very rightly said, that if the vehicles which are E10 compatible, we should have a choice at the petrol pump whether we are going for the E10 or for the E20 or the pure petrol. That is the thing. We are not against the policy, but the government should have a perfect, blueprint for it. And they should save the consumers hard-earned money which they are losing. Even the prices have gone up. And even the vehicles are losing their, the average and also the engines.
Okay, Pratik Som, consumers are the receiving end of this. 1 year of testing has happened. But please tell us, why was this not communicated to consumers 1.5 years ago in an effective manner? Why is all this scientific study, all of this data now coming out? Why didn't it come out 1.5 years earlier?
See, Madhav, the idea of ethanol blending is not a problem. The implementation is. There is no denial to the fact that today India needs a clear energy security, increase in the farmer's income that E20 aims at, lower oil imports, cleaner fuel. But the larger question is whether this transition has been fair, it has been transparent, or is it a consumer-centric exercise which Government of India has done? In my view, it is not. For any kind of policy implementation, there has to be wider public participation, public consultation. This policy came in 2003. Now in 2026, when we are implementing, and the public sentiment is that it has been done in a knee-jerk reaction. Where is the public consultation? Now admitting in denial what the Honorable Cabinet Minister has also said, that there is going to be a decrease of 3 to 5% in the mileage. You claim that it is going to be 10%. When the consumer is going to pay this, where is the money which is being saved by Government of India? That is 2 lakh crore going. Shouldn't it go to the consumer? जब ये कहते हैं कि आखिरी जो लाइन में आखिरी आदमी खड़ा है उसको फायदा मिलना चाहिए.
But you just said you have to secure the national interest by saving
is
foreign
there a
currency.
pass off, or
is that 2 lakh crores in terms of saving the national interest of forex not important?
See, Madhav, it's a complete mistrust right now as if we talk today. If even government is planning with a good intent, this has not been communicated.
So you
the
think
consumer, the normal man is...
You think the scheme should be recalled? It should be, the government should roll back the scheme, E20 rollout.
It has already been implemented. What is the question of holding
should
it back?
Be rolled back?
But
should the money not be saved according to you?
See, I think the intent of the government is very right.
Intent
E20,
is right.
not
so
not
what is
India,
wrong then? The implementation is wrong.
Every nation wants it.
So what is wrong? The implementation is wrong.
The implementation is wrong. The wider public consultation should have happened, and these...
Charupra, answer that. Wider public consultation should have happened.
No, see, the thing is, I think that is taking a stand which is not very fair, because this implementation has been going on for years now, Madhav. As of date, we have over 20 crore two-wheelers in our country and over 20 lakh four-wheelers in our country which are using blended petrol, ethanol blended petrol. So if it was a systemic failure, we would have heard about it in a different way. And I'm again going to say this, every individual consumer deserves their things to be addressed properly, legally, absolutely. But an implementation problem cannot be equated with the policy which is good for our country, no matter what level you look at. And you know, I'm going to come back and focus on the farmers. And I would like some clarity from the opposition issues like this. It's so easy to cry environment. It's so easy to cry farmers. When it comes down to actionable things that is going to improve both our environment, both our energy security, income for the farmers, they take stands which are completely twisted. Absolutely.
Dr. Nishant Anand, the opposition takes divergent stands when it comes to farmers. When you're doing something for farmers, this is hypocrisy. That is point number one. Point number two, this was also largely executed during the UPA regime when the Congress was in power. So it's not something that is started under the NDA regime or the Modi government at all. So answer those 2 points.
Yes, good evening to everybody. See, first of all, Modi ji ka nara tha, bahut hui petrol diesel ki maar. Ab ki baar Modi Sarkar. So now we're talking about this 420 government who has launched this E20. I'll answer about the Kisan. She's saying this is going to benefit the farmers. Now, 2022 tak inki aay dugni honi thi, kya Modi Sarkar ne kar di? Do they care about farmers? When 750 farmers died, they did not do a single thing for them. Now, I'll come about the report, and one fact that I want to mention. As per the Motor Vehicle Act rule in India, if there is a type change in a vehicle, let's say from CNG to petrol or anything, there has to be an ordinance which has to be passed by the cabinet. So what has happened right now, it is illegal. There is no ordinance which has been passed from changing type from petrol to E20. Point number 2.
But wasn't that passed in 2003?
No, the ordinance has not passed wherein the type has to be changed in the vehicle, because there is a private companies who you have to take your car and they have to pass.
Let's just get clarity on that. Let Abhinav clarify. I'm coming back to you. This is a very important technical point. Of course, I agree. I will come back to you. But let Abhinav answer this point because it's a very important technical point.
He's talking about farmers' income here.
No, answer the legal point that he made. He says there has to be a legal change being made.
Though, you know, the BIS standards are first enforced about the E20 fuel, and it has been done properly. The official notification has been issued by MOPNG.
He's saying the law needs to be changed.
The Bureau of Indian Standards follow this, and they make the proper protocols and the standards for the petrol, which has already been done. And similarly, that has been done for E25-27.
India rule, if they change type of the car, they have to pass an ordinance by the cabinet, which has not been done.
Ordinance is a law. It's a law. A law has to be passed.
We're not changing the type of the car. We are changing the standard fuel.
We're changing the petrol law.
Policy change is not enough, you're saying. If the government does not have the right to change the policy without changing the law. Is that what you're saying?
If the type is changing in the car, they have to pass it in the cabinet, and the ordinance has to be passed.
Was it passed by the government or not? Was it passed by the government or not?
Changing the type of the car, we are changing the
type of the fuel. He's saying type of the
passed
fuel.
by the cabinet. As an ordinance which passed that the E20 fuel has to be given to all the cars. No.
No, there's no legal sanctity to this policy change. That is the point he's making.
The Bureau of Indian Standards have passed this, have made the standards for E20.
The ordinance has not been passed.
Similarly,
whatever has happened behind the doors.
No. It's publicly available.
But Nishant, the point is that this scheme has been implemented. Are you then demanding a rollback of this scheme? What are you demanding?
See, I'll keep one point. In PIB report in 2021, 8% ethanol was started. 2021 to 2022, 10%, 2022 to 2023, 12%. Now the question is, there are 22 crore cars before 2023 which are not compatible to E20 or E10. So how come this blending started without the manufacturers who are informed by the government?
Nishant, the point being made over here very simply is this. All the major automobile manufacturers have come out to certify. They say that this is not going to impact on their vehicles. Why would you not believe them?
Okay. In 2023, 1st April, the government informed the manufacturers that now you need to make the cars which are compatible.
Correct.
Now, how come a year before they are already giving 12% of ethanol in the cars? There are 22 crore cars.
I'm told, one second, you're asking about the, since you've asked a specific point, in 2018, the Union Cabinet has approved the new policy as far as ethanol is concerned. This is the information I have. Yes or no? Because you're wrong then, because you're factually incorrect if you say the government has not approved
what
the policy.
Percentage of ethanol is the question? It is not.
That is the policy of bringing in ethanol. Introduction of ethanol was approved in 2018, yes or no?
That the Congress government did when Manish Shankar was there, 5% ethanol.
So the point is, yes,
the
of course.
Point is,
so then why are you objecting to their implementation?
No, the point is, in 2023, they are telling the manufacturers to make the cars which are E20 compatible. How come they are giving 12% of ethanol a year before? Let me complete next point. There are 22 crore vehicles running on the road. Why there is no, they should get an option to use E10, E20 and 100% petrol.
Okay, why no choice? Why no choice? Charupragya, answer that question.
See, okay, first of all, he's quoting reports and data which are incorrect, and I will tell you why, Madhav.
So please let her finish. Your intervention is not going to change the course of this debate. Please calm down and allow other panelists to speak.
My arguments
please calm down. You can factually argue arguments when your time comes. Let her answer the question that he's raising.
So they go back to the ARI report also. They talk as if the report said scrape ethanol altogether. That is not the purpose. The thing is that a technical report is rolled out before implementation so that manufacturers can become compatible. So they can fix their pipes, they can fix their seals, they can fix... No, one second, don't interrupt me.
Rubber fuel system.
No, 1 second. That is the whole point. That is the whole point. Madhav, ask him not to interrupt because I want our viewers to understand this. No, I need our viewers to understand this.
One by one.
देखो माधव, एक टेक्निकल रिपोर्ट का रीजन क्या होता है? ये यही होता है कि इम्प्लीमेंटेशन से पहले जब रिपोर्ट आ जाती है तो मैन्युफैक्चरर्स विल वर्क एट देयर एंड एंड फिक्स लूप होल्स इफ एनी. दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट द ARI रिपोर्ट डिड. ऑल द मैन्युफैक्चरर्स वेंट बैक एंड दे सेड दैट वी आर गोइंग टू यूज अ सिस्टम व्हिच इज गोइंग टू बी कंपैटिबल विद दिस लेवल ऑफ ethanol blending. Exactly that.
Okay.
And they
Allow me to come in now. And I want to bring in Rekha Agarwal. Before that, just want to quickly read out the timeline. It's in 2001 that there was a pilot ethanol blending program launched. 2004 the program was formally announced. In 2006, E5 or 5% blending was rolled out in several states. In January 2013, the policy framework was notified of 5% ethanol blending across 10 states and union territories. The blending states stuck at around 1.5% until 2014 because India could not produce enough ethanol from sugarcane alone. And the answer now, very simply, is this. In 2018, the National Policy on Biofuels provides an indicative target of 20% ethanol blending under ethanol blending petrol program by 2030. So if this has been approved by the cabinet, why are you saying there's no government sanction or the procedures have been there? There's a gazette notification also of 2013.
There is, in the Motor Vehicle Act or Rule of India, they have to pass an ordinance when
the cabinet has approved it in 2018. I just read out the details.
No, it has not been changed.
This is the National Policy on Biofuels. This has very clearly come out in 2018.
Have you read the Niti Aayog report? Have you read Niti Aayog report? Page 14.
Was it passed in 2018?
Just a minute.
Was it passed in 2018?
No, it was passed in 2020. Page 14, clause 1.4, page 19, clause 3.6, page 21, clause 3.8.3. It very categorically said that you have to provide choice to the consumers. E10 ka bhi do, E20 ka bhi do. And you would need to replace components and parts. This is their own report which is saying. And secondly, you said what's wrong? You said what's wrong? Why would you not believe Maruti and all these automobile manufacturers? Because they're lying through its teeth. Inside the court they said that, read the owner's manual. Outside the court they said that your E10 vehicles can also run on E20 fuel. Read this order, 10 seconds. कल रायपुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट कंज्यूमर फोरम में 13/18 का ऑर्डर है. इसमें कहा गया इस संबंध में विरुद्ध पक्षकार संख्या 1 जो कंप्लेनेंट थे के द्वारा परिवादी जो मारुति थी की प्रेषित मेल दिनांक 14/7/2025 प्रस्तुत किया गया जिसमें स्वतंत्र सरकारी मान्यता प्राप्त एजेंसी लैब रिपोर्ट के तहत.
Have you read Maruti's counter statement?
10 seconds.
Have you read Maruti's counter statement?
This is the answer to that statement.
So the point is very simple.
No, let me complete.
So this is Maruti's statement is in response to this.
Madhav ji, no, not in response to this. Maruti said कि वो E20 compatible वाहन था, and this report says, let me read it.
के रिपोर्ट के अनुसार, सरकारी एजेंसी की रिपोर्ट के अनुसार ईंधन की गुणवत्ता उचित नहीं पाया गया, दर्शित किया गया है।
Madhav, as far as I'm concerned, but the question is not whether ethanol is good or ethanol is bad. As a consumer lawyer, there are certain basic guarantees with the Consumer Protection Act of 1986 and thereafter 2019 also guarantees to every consumer. And what I can see what is happening over the last few months and this new controversy which has happened in Raipur, keeping that also aside, and after seeing all that has been happening and reading the reports in the media, one thing is very clear, that irrespective of the merits or demerits of ethanol, the consumer has been taken for a ride. He's been absolutely treated as a guinea pig. I'm not at all saying, again repeat, whether ethanol is good or bad, but there are certain guarantees which should have been given to the consumer before ethanol was introduced in the market. Any public policy, if it is for the good of the environment or for the good of other farmers or for any other reason whatsoever, it should inspire confidence. As I can see in the present case, public view has not been taken. There are certain guarantees which are there in the 2019 Consumer Protection Act, very clearly right to information. Was the consumer informed in advance about the merits and demerits of ethanol?
Right.
Whether he was given a choice. Then number two, right to safety, that has also been violated. Whether E20 is going to be good for his vehicle or bad for his vehicle, that is not been told. So this is a clear case not only of deficiency in service but unfair trade practice, and I'm very, very much surprised as to how the Central Consumer Protection Authority has not stepped in. This is a statutory body that has stepped in, that was created by the 2019 Act, that which says that even if a consumer has not complained or gone to the court, if anything comes to the knowledge, of the Central Consumer Protection Authority, as a parent, like I would say, like a Dhritarashtra, it can step into it independently, take suo motu action, and take the views of both sides and pass an order. So I think that before this ethanol controversy has now stepped in.
Let's quickly go across the next talking point. Please calm down 1 second. Let's go across to the next talking point. And these are two talking points we're going to take back to back. One is, of course, as far as petrol, how the mileage drop costs you. Now, petrol, if you have to talk about 10 liters, the cost in Delhi is about 1,021 rupees. The big question is, an average mileage without E20 is about 200 kilometers in such a situation. If the mileage drops by 3%, it comes to 194 kilometers. And therefore, of course, if the mileage drops of 5%, 190 kilometers. So those numbers are very important. If the mileage is actually 10%, it reduces drastically to 180 kilometers from 200. So each of those percentage points are important, because while the government says 3 to 5, there are certain claims being made that the numbers are actually more. Now, what has been stated? Now, Maruti Suzuki says, for instance, older E10 cars have been tested on E20. This is the claim that has been made. There's no wear or corrosion issues. This is the statement of the manufacturer. Vikram Gulati of Toyota has come out to say it boosts India's energy security, also talking about the vehicle itself, reduces import dependence. And this is, of course, talking about the global crisis, which is a wake-up call. Further, we've seen Vartika Shukla of the EIL, who said that E20 is a decarbonization step rolled out after extensive testing. This is the science of it. No gaps in scientific standards that are being stated here by various individuals. All right, let's quickly also go across the various case studies that have been talked about. The Raipur E20 case. The owner has alleged there are engine issues after E20 use. Maruti Suzuki says the vehicle is E20 compatible, and that's the response. In fact, also we've seen how they've stated that the case involved a Grand Vitara hybrid. The fuel sample showed contamination, says Maruti Suzuki. Consumer panel has ruled for the buyer in the case of the E20 case. Maruti Suzuki says they're going to challenge the Raipur order. They've also ordered the vehicle should be replaced. And in fact, this is something the government has said, that the vehicles under guarantee, there will be no issues, but Maruti Suzuki challenging that. There's a Saurav Joshi case as well, where a YouTuber alleged a sharp mileage drop. Mercedes-Benz India's response is that all BS6 petrol models are E20 compatible. There's also the case of a case involving a Mercedes-Benz GLC SUV. Mercedes-Benz has very clearly said happy to support customers with technical queries. There's also, of course, mileage drop from 17 to 5 kilometers, a drastic drop after E20 use, and this is a major claim being made here by Saurav Joshi. Mercedes-Benz has come out to say that they're happy to support any such technical queries as well. And this is the nub of the problem. And I want you to come in on this, Abhinav Kumra. If there are such drastic drops that are being talked about, if consumers from Raipur to Bihar to various other parts of the country are saying that there is a huge issue, who's going to resolve these issues? We need to, if the companies are going to come out and say we're going to sue the person complaining, then who protects the consumer's interest?
So we need to take a hard look at why these complaints are occurring in last 2 to 3 months when social media campaign. We need to look at who's sponsoring this paid campaign.
Who's sponsoring it?
Is it the crude oil lobby which doesn't want India to become independent, or is it the China which doesn't want India to become independent?
Then why the citizens were not informed years back?
Are we trying to listen, let me complete? Let me complete. My friend, let me complete.
मारुति टोयोटा
Are we
मिलेंगे सुर हमारा 2 साल पहले
are we trying to replace the crude oil with the lithium, and we want to hand over the keys of our automobile industry to the Chinese manufacturers, like the way we did in the cases of mobile? The e-rickshaws are being stopped with the Chinese apps. We want to stop the whole ecosystem of automobiles.
So ban electric vehicles. Why does the government ban electric vehicles?
It's not about banning anything.
No, if this is so much against national interest, if it's so much against national interest in a polluted city like Delhi NCR,
India needs.
One second. Just listen. You can't take maximalist positions on everything. You're alleging there's a China lobby. You're an EV lobby. You're alleging there's a fossil fuel, and it's quite possible. There are corporate interests. One minute. Please. 1 minute. My simple point is this: that different states and different cities require different solutions. When there's so much of pollution in Delhi NCR, the whole world is moving towards EVs. Should be completely.
You never showed that Saurabh Joshi denied. He said that there are some other issues in the engine, the mileage, and which Mercedes is giving 70. And no, there is no fault. He apologized. He apologized.
यूट्यूबर्स ने अगले दिन वीडियो डाली है कि भैया हमें थ्रेट मत भेजो, हम आगे से वीडियो नहीं डालेंगे.
He apologized. Correct. All right.
He apologized.
I agree with you. He did change his position. I agree with you.
Every drop of ethanol is just pumping wealth to the farmers, to the rural livelihoods. At one point, because of AI, the HDFC Bank has retrenched 3,300 employees. We are killing our jobs are being killed at one end, and here we are trying to kill.
What is the benefit for the consumers?
Here we are trying to kill Here we are trying to kill the rural industry. There are 419 plants established all over India. The consumers, there is a drop of 3% mileage only.
Okay.
As an Indian national, can't you afford a
the
drop
question I asked Pratik, I think that still stands. I've not got an answer for it. Nishant, please, 1 second. Nishant, question for you. Since you have intervened in this, the simple question I'm asking you is this. This 1,90,000 crores that have been saved in terms of rupees, where is that money being saved? It's being saved for India, is it not? Is that a small amount of money in your view?
See, in last 12 years in BJP government, out of that 12 years, 10 years, we saved money. Close to 43 lakh crore BJP governed Gargi, the benefit was not given to the citizens. Point number 2. Now
they say they invested in infrastructure.
No, they have invested in Kamal Mahal. We have 400 Kamal Mahal BJP offices. Now I'll come back to the point.
From petrol, come on.
No,
let's not make everything political.
No,
one second. These are policy issues. Don't. See, you can take political pot shots. We are discussing a consumer-specific issue. Don't make this into Kamal Mahal, etc. Because then they will start accusing you of corruption in your party offices. I don't want that in this. We are discussing petrol and vehicles, please.
The petroleum minister said, "Sab changa hai." We heard his interview 2 days back, and every question he's been asked, he's answering, गाड़ी को सीधा चलाओ, टायर की हवा चेक करो, गड्ढे मत रखो. ये जो गडकरी जी हैं, जो ब्रांड एम्बेसडर थे, उन्होंने गड्ढे क्यों नहीं भरे सड़कों के? Today they are telling the news reporters कि आप mileage कैसे ज़्यादा मिलेगी? They are not giving a scientific logic how 7% of mileage has been reduced because of E20. Why the price of this E20 fuel is 102 rupees? Why the 100% petrol is for 170 rupees?
Okay, I heard you. Nishant, you have not answered my question. Where is the 1,90,000 crore gone? Isn't that forex saving important for the interest of this country?
No, it is important, but you cannot do it at the cost of citizens. You cannot do it at the cost of 22 lakh crore vehicles which are running on the road. There has to be a solution given to the people.
That's not answering the question. The point is, at a time like this, we've all seen what has happened in the Middle East. We've all seen the West Asia war and how our supply lines were choked. Should we not be self-reliant when it comes to our own fuel needs are concerned? We can produce sugarcane, we can produce ethanol, and ethanol can be produced from other methods as well. Vivek Sailas, do you think this is not important for national interest? Please, one by one. Vivek Sailas, please, he has not interrupted anyone. I want Vivek Sailas to speak. Vivek Sailas.
I've been hearing a lot since we started the debate regarding the farmers. It's benefiting the farmers. But at the moment, the truth of the matter, Madhav, is the farmers in Uttar Pradesh are not getting DAP and urea by the government. What are you talking? And
what is the reason?
Huh?
What is
because there is a shortage. There is a shortage of DAP and urea. This is the time for. Do they even know this is the time for paddy crop? Ma'am, please. There is a shortage of urea and DAP both.
One by one.
The farmer has to buy the diesel at a higher price. What is the government doing about it? वी वांट एन आंसर। अब भारतीय जनता पार्टी तो कुछ भी कह देती है। नितिन गडकरी जी ने तो एक टाइम ये भी कहा था कि हम 15 रुपए में बेचेंगे पेट्रोल, हम 15 रुपए में ले आएंगे।
I've still not got an answer to the forex saving and self-reliance. Are these not important national objectives? Self-reliance. No, self-reliance is not important on fuel. Foreign exchange saving is not important, according to you.
But not at the cost of the citizens.
Can I come?
Okay, this can't be at the cost of citizens. Respond, Charupragya.
Madhav, now, first please separate the rhetoric from fact here. He fails to understand that when global supply chains are disrupted, it is not an India problem, it's a global problem. And it's happened again and again. Whether it is COVID, it is war between Russia, Ukraine, whether it is war in the Middle East now, all of that impacts our country. 1 second. 1 minute. Beech mein mat bolna.
Let him make a point. The question has been asked. Let him make a point. Charupragya.
No. It's a very serious point and I'm taking it very seriously. Madhav, I will request him to keep quiet. Let me continue. When we say 1.5 lakh crore has been paid to the farmers of this country, you know what that means? एक 1.9 4x में सेव हुआ है थोड़ा, मतलब या तो पढ़कर आया करो या चुप रहा करो. Madhav, you know, I'm not shouting.
Let her make a point. Shouting is not going to take anyone anywhere. One by one. No, one by one. Charupragya, complete your point. Complete their point, please. Let's not interrupt. Yes.
Thank you very much. So when money goes to our farmers, their income also increases, but the government is also making savings because subsidies जो देनी पड़ रही थी उस पे dependence कम हो रही है. And see, a very important thing today is that आज ना एक individual case को discuss करा जा रहा है. But the manufacturers keep their stand very clear. You can list out all of them from Toyota to Suzuki to every single brand which sells in our country. They are working to make things compatible. Individual consumers के grievances are being addressed, but you know, have you heard of these kind of cases even 6 months ago, Madhav, or 1 year ago? Where were all these people? Because आज ethanol blending is nothing new.
The next talking point that we're going to take is what happens as far as the fuel checks is concerned. What is the reality of adulteration in this country? This is the checks that Indian Oil claims it has done. 10,000 surprise checks, 8,500 quality tests. BPCL says it's done 932 surprise inspections. HPCL talks about 2,173 surprise inspections. Now, in these, BPCL says there's no adulteration found. HPCL says compliance has been verified. And this is, of course, what has been spoken about. But this is what the companies are saying. What about what has been found? In Lucknow, there's an Operation Ethanol Shield that has been found. Fuel adulteration racket has been busted and 4 individuals have been held. 16,000 plus liters of fuel and solvent have been seized. And this is, of course, a very, very important finding because they say that this is an organized racket. And Rekha, I want you to comment on this. As a consumer rights activist, the end of the day, the important point is there is adulteration in this country. We can't run away from it. But if this adulteration is impacting on the common consumer more after this E20 rollout, how does the consumer then safeguard from it? What are the options they can take if they have a vehicle that has been damaged? Because we've seen the responses in the past 2-3 cases which are out there in the public domain. Please respond.
I think that the consumer is king. That is the bottom line of the Consumer Protection Act 2019. It is not as if the consumer is without any options that he or she can avail if he feels that he is being short-cheated. There is a portal which is called the E-Jagrati. I think the first thing that any consumer should go, instead of just being silent about it or cribbing about it, make a complaint on your mobile immediately on the E-Jagrati app and bring it to the notice of the Ministry of Consumer and Food Supplies as to how this is impacting him as a consumer. And number 2, before, as I said in the beginning, that he has not been given a choice. I think that is the basic foundation, that is the basic deficiency in the way E20 has been introduced in our country, that the consumer has been made a guinea pig. He was not given a choice whether he can take this fuel or that fuel. It has just been forced down his throat or down his car. So therefore, the consumer, I would suggest over here, without getting into the political controversy, that the government should probably stall this for some time, take the public view into consideration, see if there can be any checks and balances. I'm not against ethanol at all, but either the CCP should step in or some other independent body, because I mean, all these various tests that you showed, they're ultimately pointing it out to some kind of an adulteration. The consumer cannot be held guilty for the adulteration. The adulteration has to be checked by the supplier itself.
Abhinav, what is the way out?
So she rightfully said that E20 is not the problem. somewhere or the other, there are 1 lakh petrol pumps, somewhere is there adulteration, that will be tackled by the oil marketing companies.
How are they tackling it?
They are doing the checks and they must have increased the
They are
checks.
not finding anything yet. One second, they are not finding anything wrong in the fuel that they sample.
So they busted
but
the
FIRs
racket.
have been launched.
They busted the racket.
So how can they, one second, so how can those self-checks be believed if still there are FIRs being found?
I'll ask you a question. How many of these influencers have shown their service reports that they are facing difficulties? If we'll ask them about what have they faced, they'll go silent and then they'll apologize like Saurabh Joshi.
How many petrol pumps are there in India?
Around 1 lakh petrol pumps.
5 lakhs I'm told.
1 lakh.
Only 1 lakh?
Only 1 lakh.
And who's going to monitor all these 1 lakh petrol pumps?
The Ministry of Petroleum is doing it.
How? Are there daily sample checks that happen? Are there daily sample checks that happen in each of those petrol pumps?
Yes.
Because just these surprise rates are not going to get us anywhere.
The automation at the petrol pumps are at their peak now. Whatever quantities has gone, the same quantity is allowed to be sold.
Testing is also automated?
Yeah.
Quality testing is also automated?
The quality testings, I am not aware of that.
So that's the point. Until there is a foolproof method of ensuring that there is no adulteration, how can the consumers be made the guinea pigs, as she's saying?
It's not about if there is adulteration, the government is going to tackle it. 1 or 2 complaints somewhere. Were there not adulteration complaints 10 years back?
Of course there are. But the point is when you're implementing and rolling this out,
so how can you say to stall the full program?
Rekha.
The 1 lakh crore rupees of investments have been made in the ethanol sector. The farmer who's getting 22 rupees for the maize, who was getting 12 rupees for the maize, where will the surplus grain go? Where will the surplus feedstock go? And what happened earlier, the ethanol was being blamed for using extra water. Every different individual, every different expert, somebody was saying 10,000 liters, somebody was saying 4,000 liters, somebody was saying 3,000 liters, whereas the truth is 3 to 5 liters, which is verified by Ministry of Environment.
What about the crop itself? What about sugarcane itself? What about sugarcane or corn itself? They don't
the
take water.
farmer has to, let me tell you.
Abhinav, one second. Abhinav, does sugarcane grow without water?
No, the sugar cane will be grown whether it goes to ethanol or not. For ethanol, molasses, B molasses, C molasses is used, which is a byproduct once sugar is made. The sugar cane is going to go. What will the farmers do? They will leave their farms empty.
Sir, many of these crops which ethanol is made, on the basis of this,
we are a food surplus
all are highly water consuming crops.
Use the farmer name as an emotional one. The farmers and environment. What have you done for the farmers?
Okay.
They have not given MSP, they have not given the money for the government.
How can you say that they have not given?
We are claiming it's going to resolve all these issues, but we are completely out of time. Charu Pragya, Abhinav Kumra, Prateek Som, Advocate Anmol Pawar, Vivek Salas, Nishant Anand, Rekha Agarwal. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on this edition of the National Debate.